I'm breathing underwater, I'm weightless through space. I'm soaring like an eagle all over this place. Creatures most will never see are waiting there to look at me, and all I gotta do is breathe underwater. As we know from both Lost in Space and this show, Irwin Allen did like his Monsters of the Week. Our monster today is rather different and yet somehow similar.
Oh, we're an hour from rendezvous coordinates. ETA at spaceflight control, 1,800 hours. You still concerned about our ability to handle this mission with a six-man crew?
Yes. Seaview wasn't designed to be operated by only 6 men.
Oh, nor was she designed to guide interstellar space probes.
And because 3 launchings were sabotaged on land, we're elected to try it from the sea.
Why we're controlling this launch from the Seaview makes sense. Why we're only doing it with a 6-man crew doesn't.
That's right, with an absolute minimum crew to prevent any possibility of sabotage.
Is he saying most of his crew isn't trustworthy? We'll learn that besides these two, we have Kowalski, Sharkey, Patterson, and Chip Morton is in the room that's been adapted to be flight control.
What's about the sonar?
I don't know. The strange bounce dead ahead.
Range?
2,000 yards. I never saw anything like that before.
It's not as though it's reflecting the signal. It's almost as though it were absorbing it.
Keep that in mind as we go along. In the circuitry room, Patterson reports that everything is functioning properly, so it's not the equipment. There's something totally weird out there, and it's coming at us, fast.
Engine room. All back full. All back full.
You may have been a little late with that order, Captain. Say hello to our monster. And don't worry, he speaks English, so he'll understand you and say hello back.
Flight control. What's your condition? Chip! Chip, can you hear me? Chip!
That would be no, he can't. A look out the observation nose reveals absolutely nothing. No light, no objects. When they turn on their own exterior lights, it's as though they get absorbed by the engulfing darkness. As so often happens on the Seaview.
That don't make no sense at all.
But be prepared for that other thing that happens a lot on the Seaview. It gets worse. That thing now has control of Chip's mind. This is why it seems familiar. Anything in the universe can take over a human mind. We are that feeble.
All right, Chip?
I'm all right, sir. I must have been knocked out for a minute when we hit. What was it?
He's telling the truth as far as it goes. But can you picture him saying, yeah, some kind of alien came in here and took over my mind. He's making me do stuff, but I'm not sure what.
Oh, we don't know. We're dead in the bottom. Lee's gone out to check. Luckily, your emergency circuits were knocked out by the shock.
No, sir. All systems are go. But if Seaview can't move, how can we get to control rendezvous in time for blast-off?
I still have an hour and 45 minutes. I'll get a fix on Centauri space probe. You try to raise Space Command headquarters.
He won't be able to because whatever he did in that one machine turned the radio off. Every time the Admiral checks back, he says he still can't find the problem. He called the rocket the Centauri space probe. It's supposed to be our first deep space probe, and it's heading for our closest neighbor, Alpha Centauri. At least I assume that's where they're going. Everybody, including the alien, just says Centauri, but Centauri is a constellation that only works from Earth.
There she is, Chip. On the pad. Ready to go.
If we can carry out our end of the mission, she just might make it.
Seaview, flight control to Space Command. Come in, please. Do you hear us? Over.
There's a fine example of government efficiency. He needs 3 screens to look at one rocket. Once he's gone, Morton calls Space Command and reports that they are proceeding on schedule and everything on the sub is fine. He says, "We recommend you start the countdown," which Space Command promptly does. Unfortunately, they only knew how to count down from 10, so the rocket fired prematurely and never got off the ground. A congressional investigation revealed that Chip should have been more specific. Crane and Kowalski try to go outside and see what's going on, but the escape hatch isn't working. Sharkey reports that the reactor's output is dropping as though something is sucking the radiation out into thin air. Nelson says, "I'll need a big burst of power in a few minutes, so be ready to give it everything." Patterson has it all routed to the laser. Admiral Nelson has concluded that they didn't hit something, they flew inside something. So maybe they can cut their way out with the laser. Or not. It did nothing. The darkness outside is as dark as it was before.
Didn't even face it. Now, whatever's out there seems to absorb energy of all kinds. First the sonar beam, then the reactor, then the...
Nelson wants to know what he's doing with a handgun. Well, what does one usually do with a handgun?
Anything wrong?
Nothing's wrong. You've just got to die. That's all. Everyone on the ship's got to die.
One shoots stuff with it. This one is rather careless and isn't watching where he's shooting, so he breaks stuff that probably shouldn't be broken. But at least he has the Admiral cornered. It doesn't look good.
All right, Lee. You're going to kill me. There's not much I can do about it. But why?
I don't have to explain. All I have to do is kill you. Now.
How about not now? Hey, Captain. Kowalski has a better punch than you do.
The captain was not himself.
That's for sure, sir. But what do we do about him?
Considering he has murderous tendencies, I'd start by handcuffing him.
Get him to the sick bay. I'll give him a tranquilizing shot, and by that time,
You were saying, sir?
Would you take a look over there?
What in blazes is it, sir?
Well, I think that our villain has shown himself for the first time.
Yes, he is, but I'm not sure why.
Now!
You got him, that's for sure, sir.
I'm not so sure of that. If it absorbs energy, as I think, it may just have disappeared again.
He didn't expect that to destroy it, but it should get it off their backs for a little while. Since the control room is hostile, it'll go look for new friends elsewhere. and they still need to handcuff Captain Crane.
Hold it! I've other work to do.
Aye, sir.
Told you. The Admiral wants Kowalski to build some kind of gadget that he thinks will affect this thing.
I don't understand it, but I can sure put it together.
Good. Well, let's hope it works, because we're really going to need it in a few minutes. Look, hurry it up, will you?
Not helping, Admiral. See what happens when you rush him? You can help best by leaving the room.
You must turn up the reactor.
As he told the Admiral, he's been trying. The radiation is going somewhere other than here. And we've figured out where and why he wants more energy. He eats it. He also says, if a human comes in, kill him.
Hey, Chief, have you seen the skipper of the elevator?
Well, that's what you get for being a human.
Control room. Control room, this is Patterson. Can you hear me, Admiral? This is Patterson. I have to report.
Again, striking an enlisted man is a court-martial offense. But our alien isn't interested in the niceties of American military protocols.
How long before you finish?
Oh, 10, maybe 15 minutes, sir.
Well, keep at it. We may need this a lot sooner than we expected. And don't let anyone in. No one.
Aye, sir.
He's off to talk to Chip in the flight control room, but Sharkey reports an emergency in the reactor room.
Yeah, no, Chief. What is wrong now?
It's the reactor, sir. Something's haywire for sure. I think she's going to blow.
Be right there. Now, you stay put until you hear from me. And get the transmitter fixed.
Oh, it works. He's been giving them regular reports saying they're on course and all is well.
Who is it?
It's me, Patterson. Let me in, quick.
You out of your mind, Patterson? You almost killed the chief.
No. He's one of them now. Come on, let me in. He shot at me.
When the Admiral said no one, I'm sure he didn't mean Patterson.
Come on, Ski, open the door. Ski, you gotta tell the Admiral the Chief will kill him. Come on, you blockhead, warn him. He's walking into a trap.
All right. I'll tell him what you said.
This thing has taken over enough of them that nobody's sure who to believe.
Admiral, this is Kowalski. Come in, please. It's urgent.
Why doesn't he answer? Well, I've got to find him. The Chief will kill him.
Patterson? Admiral, come in. Admiral, come in.
Maybe he's not answering you because you haven't given him time to get to an intercom. Patterson probably shouldn't have run off like that. Kowalski locks the door and keeps working on Nelson's counter gadget.
Chief! Get those dampening rods back in quickly.
I can't.
What do you mean you can't? One of the reactor's going wild. There's no control there.
There can't be any control. The reactor's going to build to critical mass and then explode.
What is wrong with you? Where do you get these ideas?
Where do you think he gets them from, Admiral Oblivious? They finish pulling the rods and leave the room. Crane says, when it blows, everyone who isn't one of us will be killed. He's wrong. Nelson, Patterson, and Kowalski are all still alive and well. Why? Because that alien ship out there absorbed almost all of the blast. It was hungrier than it thought.
What's the matter, Kowalski?
It's the Admiral, sir. He left here a few minutes ago for the reactor room. That explosion, I think it came from there.
The Admiral will take care of it.
But, sir, he might be down there caught by that blast.
You don't have to worry about that.
Is that so, sir?
He was with me when the explosion hit. He's perfectly all right. He's on his way down there now.
I'm glad to hear that, sir. You know, for a minute there, I was afraid that something...
What's this?
I'm not quite sure, sir.
Nobody notices the strange way these guys are talking. Chip won't do anything overt right now, but he and the collective file the information away for later use. Push them back in, hello.
What happened, sir? Are you all right?
He explains that the reactor is running wild, but he won't push the rods back in until the Admiral tells him to. Self-motivate much?
You only waste your time and efforts, humans. There's no hope for any of you. We of the star galaxy, known to you as Centauri, shall see to that.
Centauri? Sir, isn't that where?
That's right, the target for our first interstellar probe.
We can discuss this as soon as you tell me what a star galaxy is and why it has the same name as an Earth constellation. His mission is pretty simple. They've been watching us for centuries and seen how adept we are at destroying everything we touch, including each other. They don't want us or our probe anywhere near their place. You can't blame them.
But if you're from Centauri, what are you afraid of? Our space probe was intended as a friendly act.
We do not believe you.
Can't blame them for that either. They've watched us break treaties, commit genocide. They've seen how our greatest technological advances have come from finding better ways to kill each other, and so on. They've already sabotaged 3 previous attempts to launch this thing, and they have no problem doing the same to a 4th.
We know now that in your mind alone lies the secret of how we may destroy the space probe. When we have that knowledge, one by one, you shall kill each other. Then we shall destroy your interstellar space probe.
He wants that information, so he's going to take over Nelson's mind.
Close the dampening rods.
But we'll lose all our power, sir.
Shove them in.
Aye, sir.
And hurry.
Let me tackle him, sir. Get away if you can.
Stand back.
Let him take me, sir.
I said stand back!
Oh no, he's not. He was drawing his energy from the pile. Putting the rods back in, cut that off and weakened him.
Why aren't you in flight control?
Well, as you know, sir, it's still not operational. And while you were busy with the reactor, I thought I'd better give Kowalski a hand.
But, sir, I thought you said that you were with...
He's already completed one of these. Maybe you'd better look it over before he finishes the second.
Well, this may be our best hope against the alien and our own men.
Our men?
Sharky. Sharky's been taken over along with Crane.
Again, nobody is noticing how strange Morton is acting and talking. Somebody called Kolchak. These guys need an investigative reporter who's okay with really weird stuff.
Sir? The Admiral. He sent me down here.
We know why he sent you.
Well, if that's the case, sir, I'll just tell him that you have everything under control.
Yes, why don't you do that?
Yes, sir. I will, sir.
Don't worry, we're not killing off Patterson. Lucky for him, Captain Crane is a terrible shot, especially when he shoots from the hip and doesn't aim. Nobody's ever shown him what those little ornaments on top of the barrel are for.
Doesn't make sense. There's simply no reason why we can't make contact.
There has to be one.
Yeah, but why? Why? Everything checks out. All systems are normal. Power supplies, independent, functioning. So why can't we...
I do not understand why you have not responded to our signals. Repeat. Space Command to SSRN Seaview. Come in, please. I do not understand why you have not responded to our signals.
Busted! Chip tries to play ignorant, but Nelson says, I should have known he'd go for the flight control guy first. As usual, there's lots of things he should have known, but he has a well-established reputation for not knowing them.
That knowledge comes too late.
I don't think so. Flight Command, this is Seaview. Repeat, Flight Command, this is Seaview. Red alert, red alert.
We read you, Seaview. Give us alert status. Over.
Read me carefully, Flight Command. Seaview has been taken over by...
Good thing he was wearing the flak jacket. They don't want him dead, they just want him to hold still while our visitor takes over his mind. He doesn't want to hold still. After that little interruption, he returns to his conversation.
What is your red alert? Over.
Look, we've been invaded by aliens. They've taken over the submarine and most of my crew. You'll have to handle the flight controls.
Negative. On the basis of earlier reports, we have allowed automatic turnover of controls to you. We're at 47 minutes and counting.
Look, you can't let ignition continue. If you do, they'll destruct from here.
You'll have to stop them, Seaview.
Currently soliciting ideas for how to do that, Colonel.
If there's any destruct on this flight, we may very well lose the race to the stars.
Don't you understand? We're helpless here. There's no way...
Yet another thing he should have known. He should have known to take their guns away while they were down. You may have noticed he's already hitting the shoulder because, again, Crane is a lousy shot.
Admiral, what's been going on here, sir?
The alien took all of them over.
What do we do about them, sir?
Now will you break out the handcuffs?
I'm gonna risk leaving them here while I make one more attempt to get rid of the alien. This is burned out. Did you make any more of these?
Well, that's what I came here to tell you, sir. There are no more.
Here, help me out with this. Why not?
Well, I needed miniaturized batteries, sir. And when I got to electrical stores, I found them all wrecked.
Well, shuckins, how you suppose that happened? He hasn't answered Kowalski's question.
Just have to carry on without him.
Not the best possible answer, just leave them there to wake up and make more trouble later.
How is he?
He's badly hurt, sir.
You think you can carry him to the missile room?
Aye, sir.
Told you, handcuffs are your friends. For that matter, so is a good strong piece of string. Incapacitate them. In the missile room, they bar the door and Nelson has Kowalski help him push a nuclear-tipped torpedo into one of the tubes. Kowalski says, that'll blow us up too. Nelson says, that's a distinct possibility. Now help me get it loaded. We know Kowalski trusts the Admiral with his life, but right now that's being pushed to the limit. Once the torpedo is in, he says, take care of Patterson. If we're all getting blown up in a minute or so, why? The others know they're in there, but they don't know why. Or, more precisely, they won't know why until they blow the door, go in and ask.
Well, that does it. I set the fire. You might as well brace yourself in the slight hope that we could... Oh, no.
Well, this is a nice mess. And no, Patterson isn't going to suddenly jump up and save the day.
It should be evident now that your position is hopeless. Join us, and you will share in our benefits. Refuse, then your only alternative is death.
Not quite. One resource left.
He can still phone a friend. Wait. As he suspected, the alien ship around them absorbed the whole blast. It was too much at once for it and the Shadowman, and they both overloaded and short-circuited.
What happened?
A nightmare. A long, long nightmare.
What are you talking about?
I'll explain it to you later, Lee.
I doubt it. He's forever doing this to Captain Crane. He tells Kowalski how the alien was destroyed, tells him to get Patterson to sickbay, and do what? There's no doctor on board. He tells Chip to get the probe on its way. Now, Shadowman and his bunch came here specifically to tell us to stay away, but Nelson can't take a hint. The probe reached them, and a week later it returned with a big label on it that said "Return to Sender." Nelson still didn't get it. He figured he just had the wrong address. You don't want to know how long this went on.
All I gotta do is breathe underwater. Breathe underwater. Breathe underwater.
He speaks English, so he'll one shoot stuff. File the information away for